This is homework for English 133. My little book is a hot mess. I have a new one, but I need to transfer all of it. So this is what the hard copy looks like, okay? And the cover, okay? So you are to go get this on campus, okay? Because you have to go pick it up. So make sure you pick it up. You are gonna have chapters for your class. For your homework, you're gonna have chapters 1 and 2. So you need to read them, okay? And you need to go through them. And this is your assignments, okay? So pay attention, all right? So here we go. Successful reading, chapter 1, okay? It's gonna be, you're gonna do page 3, okay? Personal feedback. And then you're gonna do page 7, and it's a weekly time chart. And this is about determining your schedule. Sometimes you all say, oh, I don't have enough time, but then you spend a lot of hours Netflixing and Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook. Get ready, because the Russians have all your information, so be careful with that, but I'll get to it. So this is gonna be, you're gonna write down everything that you do, not just for school, okay? Because it's important for you to be able to manage your time. If you don't know how to manage your time, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you're gonna spend it all because you don't know how to manage your time. The other thing is that it doesn't matter how much money you get, if you waste your time, there is nothing ever in life that'll pay you back in money the time wasted. So don't waste any more time. And you guys are super young, so you think, oh, whatever. But if you lose a minute, no money can give you back the minute, okay? So make sure that you optimize your time. If you'll notice here also, underneath page 4, you have to multiply the amount of hours that you have in class. You're gonna be very shocked, but that's the amount of hours. If you have like let's say we're supposed to meet, like my class, is hard because it's online, but let's say you go to lab like 3 times a week, right? You go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it's like an hour or 2. You need to multiply that times 2 down here, and it'll give you the total amount of hours that you need to dedicate to that specific class in order to be able to have elite grades, or which are very high grades, and be an elite student. You're going to be shocked, okay? Because it turns out to be almost the equivalent to a full-time job, okay? And school is a full-time job, and it's an investment, so make sure that you optimize it, okay? There's and you are who you are, so don't cut any corners with yourself. When you're cutting corners with like a class that you don't want to do, or you're conning the teacher, whatever, you're only cutting corners for yourself, okay? Because you're not learning what you're supposed to. And if you have a bad teacher, so you got a bad teacher, so then you need to learn yourself, because we are life learners. We are lifetime learners, okay? Lifelong learners. So that means that we need to understand how we learn and how it is that we can learn whatever it is that we need to learn, whether it be a recipe, gardening, phlebotomy, medical terminology, to become a CNA, to become a broker, to become a teacher, whatever it is, you're going to have to teach yourself. Teachers are there as support and mentors, and they're guides, and they're there to give you your expertise. But in the end, you're going to have to do all the work, okay? So this is going to give you a really good indication and skill to be able to start managing your time. And you're going to see, maybe you're not going to have time, and then maybe you're like, I really don't have time. I've had students like that. And then I'm going to have students, and then I had other students that said, Miss, I'm really depressed. I didn't realize that till I saw all that I slept. Or people, other students tell me, I didn't have time, and I have so much time, I waste so much time. So this is really important, the weekly time chart, okay? In this, make sure that you read all the chapter, okay? In this chapter 1 and chapter 2 are super, super important. There's one here about reading rates. I always have you all do that, but since we're not physically there, I'm not going to have you do that. So then do extra on page, so you're going to do weekly time chart on page 7, and then you're going to go to page 25, and then you're going to do exercise 11, all right? And then you're going to do exercise 12 on page 26. It goes all the way to the next page. Okay, and that's for chapter 1. Now chapter 2, chapter 2 looks like this, stages of reading. Okay? Chapter 1 was successful reading. You have to like to read. If you don't like to read, you have to build up your stamina, and you have to, practice. It's sort of like if you want to do a marathon, or you want to do whatever, a marathon. I don't know what the other ones are, the several things or whatever. You can't just get up and run like a 5K. You have to build your stamina. Everything is habit, and everything is stamina, and everything is discipline. Whether you eat well, whether you exercise, whatever it is that you need. Even stupid stuff like Netflixing, binging. That's like, you have to build a stamina to sit there for 6 hours or however long. Okay, that's such a waste of time. Don't waste your time doing nothingness. Waste your time in investing yourself and being better and becoming better and making a better life for you, physically, mentally, spiritually, socially, economically, in terms of professionally. Okay, don't waste your time looking at other people. If you follow Kardashians, you start living your own life. Who cares about them? Who cares? Okay, you live your life. So the next one is stages of reading. Okay, so you need to learn, you need to read, because if you don't read, everything is reading. And if you don't create stamina into being able to read faster and being able to comprehend better, you can't even get through your test, your CNA. So the more you read, the faster you start reading, and the more comprehension you come. And everybody learns. I'm an avid reader, but I didn't like reading until I became an adult. Why? Because I started getting better at it, and it's just practice, and you start building schemata, which is your prior knowledge. And so if you have prior knowledge, then you have a base. It's a foundation. You're building like a building or a house, right, for yourself on knowledge. So you put one brick, and then you put another, and then you put another, and then you put another. The initial foundation that you put is schemata, and it's prior knowledge, and then upon that you start building upon and upon and upon. So those are really, really important. Okay, and that's how you sort of start. So stages of reading is chapter 2, and you're going to do page 35, and that's going to be your personal feedback. Okay, I forgot to say this, write in your books, and then you take a picture. You make sure that you put your your ID on it, so I know that it's you and you guys aren't copying. And then you just take a picture of it, and then you upload it, but write in your books. Okay, so you're supposed to write in your books. These 2 chapters are one of the most important chapters in the book. Okay, read through it. It's very, very important. Okay, so you are going to do page 56. So you're going to do page 35, personal feedback, and then you're going to go to page 56, and you're going to do vocabulary. Okay, that goes all the way to page 57. And then you're going to do page 63, and then you're going to do vocabulary. Not comprehension questions, vocabulary. Okay, and then you're going to go to page 70, and then you're going to do vocabulary. Okay, I forgot how to write vocabulary, so I sounded it out just like you were in kindergarten, okay, or first grade. So that goes for anything. If you forget how to write something, just sound it out, okay? And if you know your words like I before E except after C, then you sort of state that. So right now is like vocabulary. I was getting the U wrong, okay, because I was like distracted. So those are skills that you set and you have since you were a kid, and you use them all the way to adulthood. And we'll discuss medical terminology, which is very important for you all to understand. We'll discuss how words are created and how words are built and how they are written, so that way you can figure out prefixes, suffixes, root words. Though we're going to be reviewing those, but at a higher level. So whatever you learned in kindergarten and first grade, and I was a kinder teacher, so I know how to teach reading, okay? Most teachers do not. Just kinder teachers and first grade teachers know how to teach reading. Everybody else gets their kids, gets the students, and they already know how to read. So teaching how to read is a huge skill, and that's what you're going to learn now, but it's going to be at a higher level, okay? So you're going to have vocabulary at page 70 and 71, and then you're going to go to page 72. These last ones on the pages of vocabulary lesson that you have at the end of the chapters are very important to me, okay? So make sure that you go through it, because here on page 72 through 74, okay? And it's going to be, you're going to read all that, and you're going to do part 1 through part 2 and part 2, okay? But in these page 72 through 74, it gives you prefixes and suffixes, and it shows you what that means. So it's highly important for you to understand that. So like dis means not. So anything that has dis in front of it means not. It also has un means not, okay? And then in or im mean not. So anything that has that, like inadequate means that it's not adequate. Inaccessible means that it's not accessible. So even, you might already know those words, but if you have other words that you don't know, if they have an im, an in, or an un, or a dis, that means that it's not, okay? So then that gives you a huge context clues, and because you have that skill, you know that it has to do with not, okay? And if you understand your root words, your prefixes and your suffixes, even if you don't know the word, you can decipher it, and you can take educated guess, and you might be able, because of the context clues, or because, you know, just take an educated guess, and you might be able to get it right, okay? So that is for chapter 1 and 2. I think I'm going to give you till Friday, okay, 11:59 to get done. If you do not have your book, let me know, so that way I know, you know, how you're doing, okay? And maybe do an extension, but try to hustle your book. You need to go get your book. If you have any questions, let me know. We will be having discussion board later on this week. I think I'm going to change it. I used to have it on Fridays. I think I'm going to have it on Wednesday, so that way you all can get it up and not worry about it. What else? I'm like inputting all the names to teams, so please be patient with me. I have 300 students. I have to do my categories in my classes, and then individually put in the names for the teams, so that way we can communicate. You nonetheless can find me on Teams, and I can communicate back to you, okay? So that way, when we have them in a group, when we do our Teams meetings, then I have you in a group, and all you do is get an invite, and you don't get an invite, you get the join, the join button, and then you can come up whenever I have class, whenever I have the Teams lectures. Okay, I think that does it. It should be pretty easy. Really read what those 2 chapters are about. They're very, very interesting, and they're very informative, and they are going to create a schemata which will help for your knowledge, okay? Because that's what you're here, and it is through building our schemata, our prior knowledge, that we become, sabios, that we become, smart and knowledgeable, and people of, educated, in terms of, school, because there's a lot of people that are very highly educated that are not in school, and that doesn't mean anything, okay? Just because you're in school and you didn't finish school does not mean that you're not educated or you're not smart. It just doesn't mean you don't have the paper, and that's it. But we're here because we need the paper, we need the certification, and we do learn. We need to learn whatever it is that, the degrees teach us, and our teachers in our schools, and that's why we're here, okay? Because we don't know anything, even if we're in the industry, okay? There's a lot of stuff that we need to learn. Okay, namaste, love and light.